Go Knights, go! 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 Good day, Knights fans. How you Knight fans doing out there? This is your super fan and host, Jason Banks, coming at you again with another edition of Knights This Week. On Knights This Week, we have 3 games to cap, so not quite as many games as last week. So we're going to get to those games in just a second. And that is going to be our Knights This Week. Let's take a look at how the Knights did in game action this week. So, welcome to Knights This Week. Just let me get myself set up here. Alright, welcome to Knights This Week, fans. Now, I want to tell you something first right off the bat. I am doing something different in shows now starting this week. And that is, you have probably been accustomed to seeing me wear my Knights jersey every Knights This Week. And my hat. I'm still wearing my hat. But I got so many different Knights t-shirts. I thought it was an opportunity for me on Knights This Week to model, show and tell some of my Knight shirts that I've acquired over the years. So this is what I'm wearing today. And as you can see, it says Ontario Hockey League Robertson Cup Champions back-to-back 2012-2013. So that is just 3 years ago or so. That's when they won back-to-back OHL championships. And it began, actually, their run of being at 3 straight Memorial Cups. But the Knights, unfortunately, in that run did not win any of those Memorial Cups. But still, the only time they've ever repeated as Ontario Hockey League champions, and that was 2012-2013. So, that is my shirt for this week. Thought I would bring that to you. So, I hope that you like that. I got a lot of Knights t-shirts. You're going to see a lot of Knight t-shirts over the next few weeks. Let's get to the games, shall we? But first and foremost, I wish I didn't have to bring this to you. I wish I could come to you one of these weeks and tell you there was no updates on this front, because it would sure be nice. But it just seems like it's been a rotten luck year for the London Knights in terms of injuries. And once again, unfortunately, we got another injury to give a report on to you. It happened sometime over, actually, they played their games on the weekend I'm about to bring to you. And then before the Wednesday night game, which I have again this week, apparently sometime on Tuesday in practice, a London Knight suffered an injury. In practice! Not even a game, in practice. And unfortunately, it's not good, because it is the London Knights starting goaltender again, Tyler Parsons, again out with an injury. So, he missed a good hunk of the season already at the beginning due to an injury. And Tyler Parsons is out again with what they're saying is a lower body injury, I believe. More to elaborate on that front is I did read, apparently in practice, he took a puck. Excuse me, I don't know why I have such a dry voice today. But he took a puck somewhere off his lower body in practice, a rather hard shot puck, and he's injured. Now, they're listing his injury as day-to-day, which is good news, because you don't want to be without him long-term. So he's day-to-day, but let's hope it's not very long. And let's hope they stop getting these freak injuries. The pucks are hitting our team hard this year. Puck hit Max Jones' arm, broke it. Puck has hit Victor Mete. He's still out with what's most likely a concussion. And now a puck's hit Tyler Parsons. Honestly, if they didn't have bad luck, they wouldn't have any luck at all. So for that injury update, I want to do this. Yeah, boo. Boo. We don't like Tyler Parsons out of the lineup. He is an awesome goalie. He is our best goalie. He is probably still right up there in terms of the best goalies in the CHL. We need him in net, so that's not good. All right, let's get to our games this week, shall we? And let's start out with a Friday night game last Friday night at Budweiser Gardens. Friday night hockey in London. Hockey night in London. And because it's hockey night in London, we got this. We gotta have hockey night in London. So, here you go. Yes, hockey night in London on a Friday night. And the London Knights on this Friday night were entertaining the Owen Sound Attack. So you remember on my last nights this week, they were in Owen Sound and made a remarkable comeback against a very, very hot club to end their 15-game winning streak. Bravo on that still. Bravo. Great job. So the Owen Sound Attack back here on London on the Friday night for another matchup. And since that loss against the Knights, the Owen Sound had pulled off 2 more wins. So technically they had a 17-game regulation unbeaten streak coming into Budweiser Gardens. So what was this game going to provide this time? 3 times already this season, the London Knights and Owen Sound Attack have played each other, and all 3 times has gone into a shootout. So, let's see what this game brings us here at Budweiser Gardens. And the London Knights play a rather outstanding game in this game, actually. And I thought this would be another close game. I thought this would go down to the wire. I thought that the Owen Sound Attack would give the Knights fits again. But on this hockey night in Budweiser Gardens, the London Knights shut out the Owen Sound Attack. Shut them out by a score of 4-0. And I have to admit, you have to admit the London Knights played an outstanding game in this game. The shots on goal in this game were 33-24 in favor of the London Knights. So they only gave 24 shots to the Owen Sound Attack. A very tidy defensive game. And tidy on the penalties as well. The London Knights sometimes cannot control their penalties. They sometimes are very, very undisciplined. But on this night, they only gave the Owen Sound Attack 2 power plays, and they killed them both. While the London Knights were 2 for 5 on the power play. So an outstanding game for the London Knights as they rode to their 4th straight win. Let's take a look at the more details of this game. Let's see how it ends up. Let's see how it evolves. First period, Owen McDonald at the 1843 mark continues his incredible run lately. But this 14th goal of the year from Evan Bouchard at 1843 to give the Knights the opening goal in the 1-0 lead at the end of 1 period of play. And then Owen McDonald in the 2nd period got another goal. I mean, this guy is an outstanding player. He's in his overage year, and I have always liked Owen McDonald, and he is still playing great, and he is chipping in as a valuable overager. He gets his 15th goal of the season in the 2nd from Nicholas Mattinen and Adrian Carbonera at 2:50 in the 2nd to make it 2-0 for your London Knights. And then, before the 2nd period was up, at the 12:16 mark, the London Knights added to it when J.J. Pickenage, Captain Pickenage, got his 20th goal of the season from Max Jones and Cliff Pooh on the power play. 3-0 was their score at the end of 2 periods of play for the London Knights. And then in the third period, they would add on to it. Not that they really needed to. It was late in the game. Less than a minute left. 19:05. But they still did. Mitchell Stevens getting another goal. And he is outstanding as a London Knight. He has been really, really valuable to this team since they've got him. His 18th goal of the season from Robert Thomas and Dante Salaturo on the power play at 19:05. And that was all the scoring in this game. That was all they needed. They really only needed the one goal, to be honest, because the rest of the way they shut the door. 4-0 for your London Knights over the Owen Sound Attack on this Friday night. So the Knights get another win, and they play a pretty good game. Tyler Parsons was not overly busy in this game, but he made the 24 saves to get a shutout. So on the Knights win the first game of this night this week 4-0. And because of that, you know what they did? They just broke the Owen Sound Attack 17-game regulation unbeaten streak. So they ended their winning streak about a week ago and then ended their regulation unbeaten streak. And you know what? That is awesome.
Baby, yeah.
Yeah, baby, yeah. That is awesome. So London Knights win this game 4-0. Your 3 stars in this game were Captain Pickenidge. JJ Pickenidge played an outstanding game. As I mentioned, he got the 1 goal. Did he get any assists in this game? Let's see. Nope, he just got the goal, but he had a great game as the captain. Owen McDonald, outstanding game for the veteran again. So really, the overagers shined in this game. Owen McDonald got 2 goals for the 2nd star. Well, who's the 1st star of this game? No other than Tyler Parsons. Once again, Tyler Parsons, for I think the 3rd time in 4 games, gets the 1st star. He did get the shutout, and he was the 1st star of this game as your London Knights roll on to a 4-0 victory over the Owen Sound Attack to open up their games this week. So let's go to the next one, shall we? And they would go on the road on a Saturday night to go and play Mitchell Stevens' former team. That's the Saginaw Spirit in Saginaw. Now, I will have to admit, as they go into this game, I thought, you know what, this Knights team seems to be really rolling now. We just beat Owen Sound 4-0. We have knocked Owen Sound off twice in the last week. I think the London Knights are going to go on one of these rows now that nobody's going to touch them. That's what I thought. And I kind of thought, well, we're playing Saginaw. Saginaw's not even in a playoff spot at this time. Should be an easy 2 points in Saginaw. Huh? I don't know. Should it be an easy 2 points? Well, let's find out what happens in this game. All I can say is just put this up. Easy 2 points? I don't know. Exclamation mark. Let's see what happens. So London Knights go into Saginaw. And let's see how this game unfolds. And in the first period, the London Knights, right off the hip-hop, start getting into penalty trouble. Yes. They gave up a couple of power plays to start the game, 3:13 and 8:28 in. They took penalties. But it was late in the period as well. 17:10 mark, Adrian Carbonera, he was checked from behind by the Saginaw player. It was it was just a clean check, wasn't really that hard, but Adrian Carbonera took exception to it and ended up taking a slashing penalty and a roughing penalty on the same play. And then not even like 30 seconds later, Brandon Crawley took a penalty on a mouth guard misconduct. He got a misconduct for yapping at the referees. And then Alex Formanton at the 17:48 mark also took a penalty the same time for a roughing penalty. So the London Knights start taking all these penalties and rather some very, very undisciplined, very stupid, rather undisciplined penalties. And the London Knights ended up getting up 2 goals on a 5-on-3 power play for the Saginaw Spirit. At 18:11, Saginaw got a goal from Flip Hornick, his 9th of the season, on the power play to give the Saginaw Spirit a 1-0 lead. And then C.J. Garcia on the same power play, on the 5-on-3 power play at 19:59, with just 1 second left in the period, he got a power play goal, his 5th of the season, from Chris Bennett and Marcus Crawford, to give the Spirit a 2-0 lead at the end of one period of play. Okay, so you're sitting here thinking to yourself, that is a crappy first period. That's not the way you play. That's very selfish, very undisciplined, and it was. They played very, very undisciplined throughout this entire game, but you thought at the end of the one period of play it would maybe stop, but no, it did not. And you think, well, we're down 2-0, you know. Like, I mean, we came from behind from 4 goals against Owen Sound. We're the London Knights. We can do this. Let's go to the second. And the second period, it only was 1 minute into the period, 1:11 to be precise. Hayden Hodgson for Saginaw. He is their top man now that Mitchell Stevens is gone. He is their top goal scorer. He got his 30th goal of the season at the 1:11 mark to make it 3-0 Saginaw. And then at the 14:05 mark, with again the Knights again killing a penalty, and it was a 5-on-3 power play again that they were trying to kill. At the 14:05 mark, Matthew Christ got his 8th of the season for the Spirit, 4-0 Saginaw. And that was the way it was at the end of 2 periods of play. A lot of the Knights had actually owned the shots at the end of 2 periods of play by a total of 25-19, but trailing 4-0. And a lot of that due to very, very undisciplined, selfish play resulting in all of these penalties that the London Knights took. Let's take a look at the penalties in the second, shall we? Dante Salaturo took a slashing penalty. Max Jones took a slashing penalty, and then Max Jones, when he took a slashing penalty, he also took an additional penalty. That's when they got another power play goal. He got a abuse of an officiating. He yapped off at the officials, Max Jones. So another 5-on-3 power play. They got a bench minor. A lot of the Knights did in the second again. Dylan Hunter got thrown out of the game for yapping off at the referees. So that is how this game kind of went for the London Knights. A lot of yapping, a lot of just not playing very good hockey, not playing very disciplined, and just not having their heads in this game whatsoever. They would, in the third period, mount a huge comeback. No, I'm just kidding. They did not. They did at least salvage a goal in the third period when, in the third period, the London Knights, in the very late part of the third, it was 1910, Sam Miletich got his 27th of the season from Yanni Kalkinen and Cliff Poo on the power play to make it a 4-1 game, but it was too little, too late at that point. The London Knights would drop this game to the Saginaw Spirit by a score, a 4-1. Team they were about 30 points ahead of in the standings. Let's take a look at the final standings. They outshot the Saginaw Spirit on the night 41-28, but the more telling stat is that they gave up 9 power plays, the London Knights, and Saginaw scored on 3 of them. So, The London Knights 4-game winning streak comes to an end. They drop a very valuable game, considering how tight the standings are still, to the Saginaw Spirit 4-1. And just not a great game all around for the London Knights in this one. Saginaw swept the 3 Stars. Why wouldn't they? London didn't play very well. Matthew Christ got the 3rd star from the Spirit. Flip Hornick got the 2nd star from the Spirit. Evan Cormier, the goaltender for Saginaw, got the 1st star because he did play a very good game. 41 shots on net. He stopped all of them. So he did play a very good game. But your London Knights drop this game 4-1 in Saginaw. This is one of those games where you wonder if at the end of the season it's going to come back and bite them in the butt. You kind of wonder if they miss first place overall by 2 points, they're going to look at this game and say, you know what, if we had won that game, we'd be first place. But the game's done with now, and I can't do much about it. You can only hope that the Knights learn some lessons from this game and move forward for their next one. And their next game came on Wednesday night in the USA as well. London Knights are going to have a lot of road games from here on, and they don't have many home games left. So let's take a look at this one that they played on the Wednesday night in Flint, Michigan. So just let me bring this up for you here just briefly, and we'll find out. We'll see how the Knights did in this one. And the London Knights are playing a team that, again, is a lot lower than them in the standings. They were playing a team that is in 8th place in the standings, and a team that they should handle easily as well. Let's see how this one turns out. And this one gets off to a rather poor start as well. In the first period at 6:37, with actually Flint killing a penalty, Ty Delorenda got his 7th goal of the season at 6:37 to make it a 1-0 game for the Flint Firebirds already at 6:37. Also, this was a game that Tyler Parsons did not start in. Tyler Johnson started the game, which was a little bit of a concern, to say the least. He has not been playing very good in games that he's been called upon. A little bit of a worrisome there when I heard that Tyler Johnson was getting a start, but as because Tyler Parsons, as I mentioned at the beginning, is injured. But the London Knights were trailing 1-0. They tied it at the 15:04 mark when Yanni Kalkinen got his 20th of the season from Evan Bouchard, and Dante Salaturo ties the game up at 1. And then, before the first period is over, just a little less than 2 minutes after Kalkinen scores, Flint Firebirds go ahead again. Ryan Moore got his 29th goal of the season for the Flint Firebirds, assisted by ex-London Knight Cole Sherwood at 17:29, 2-1 Flint at the end of one period of play. And then in the second period, the Flint Firebirds would go ahead by a 2-goal margin at 6 minutes even when Ty Deloranda got another goal, his 8th of the season, from CJ Clark at 6 minutes. 3-1 was the score for the Flint Firebirds. What? 3-1 for the Flint Firebirds. What is going on here? These are games that we should be handling easily. What is going on? And in fact, the London Knights outshot the Flint Firebirds in the first 19-12. They did get outshot in the second 16-10. So, Flint Firebirds at the end of 2 periods of play were, let's see, was it the end of 2? No. Before the second period was up, Adrian Carbonera got his 10th goal of the season from Yanni Kalkinen and Nicholas Mattinen at 17:43 to make it a 3-2 game at the end of 2 periods of play for the Flint Firebirds. And it sure looked like the Knights were on their way to another loss to a lower bottom team in this one, as the Knights, again, were not learning their lesson from the Saginaw game, as they gave Flint 8 power plays in this game. 8 power plays for the Flint Firebirds. Come on, guys. Really? Get discipline and stay in the game and stop losing your emotions all the time. Hopefully they start getting that lesson driven through them with playoffs just around the corner. But anyway, let's go to the third period now. Let's see what happens. In the third period, the London Knights would find a way to tie it. And who got the tying goal other than he has been Mr. Hero in the clutch lately for the London Knights, and that's Mitchell Stevens. Mitchell Stevens got his tied it up for the Knights in the third period, his 19th of the season at the 16-minute mark, even with the Knights short-handed to boot. Mitchell Stevens from Robert Thomas, 16 minutes, made it a 3-3 game. So this game would go to overtime. So at least the Knights would get a point out of this, at least. In overtime, the Flint Firebirds actually had more of the chances than the London Knights did. Flint outplayed the London Knights in the overtime, outshooting them 5-2. But nobody scored in overtime, which meant this would go to a shootout. And the London Knights have had really bad luck in these shootouts all season long, up until the Owen Sound game, of course. And let's see what happens in the shootout. In the shootout, Yanni Kaukonen went for open it for the Knights. He missed. Nicholas Camano would go for Flint. He would miss. And then they also sent out Jalen Smurek, the Flint Firebirds. He missed. Ty Delaranda went. He also missed. And then the Knights' second shooter, Mitchell Stevens, would get a go past Garrett Forrest of the Flint Firebirds. So he scores the only goal in the shootout, and the London Knights would end up winning this game 4-3 over the Flint Firebirds. So they get a much needed 2 points over a team that they should be getting 2 points over. But did they play a good game? They didn't particularly play a good game. Gave up way too many power plays again. Got outshot 46-40. So the lessons that they need to learn from this game going forward, they need to be more disciplined. And they also need to tighten up defensively. And of course, let's hope when Victor Mete gets back, that will help the back end on that front to tighten up defensively. But the London Knights would get the 2 points. Not probably deserving of the 2 points, but they got it anyway in this game. So, let's say this. Yeah! And let's say this. Yeah, win for the London Knights as they win against the Flint Firebirds 4-3 in Flint. Let's go to the 3 stars of this game. Third star was Garrett Forrest of the Flint Firebirds, the goaltender. He definitely did play a good game. Faced 40 shots and only gave up 3 goals in regulation. Yanni Kaukonen was the second star for your London Knights, as he had a good game. He had a goal, and did he get an assist as well? Let's go down and see what he did. Yes, he got 2 points on the night, so good game for Yanni Kaukonen. And then the youngster Ty Delaranda for Flint was the first star. He got 2 goals for the Flint Firebirds. He had a very good game for Flint. He's well deserving of the first star. But it wasn't enough, as the Flint Firebirds got defeated in a shootout by the London Knights 4-3. So that concludes our games and nights this week. Now, like what I always do at the end of nights this week, I like to give an updated standings. So let's do that for you. And just bringing up the standings now. I can tell you this. I will give you the London Knights. I will tell you where the London Knights, what their record is now. On my whiteboard here, this is their record. So that's their record right there. 35 wins, 9 regulation losses. So they're still under double digits for regulation losses in the season. 3 overtime losses, 4 shootout losses, to give them a total of 77 points on the season. So where's that put them in the standings overall? Well, let's go to the standings here, shall we, folks? And I'll bring this to you as we come into play this weekend. The London Knights are tied with the Erie Otters with 77 points. The Erie Otters, though, have a very important game in hand on the London Knights. So, really, technically, they probably would be ahead of the London Knights. The Soo Greyhounds have 75 points. So they're right there in the mix as well, right behind them. But again, the London Knights do have a game in hand on the Soo Greyhounds right now as well. The Windsor Spitfires are hanging around as well. Despite all their injuries, they're there with 73 points in the standings, so they're pretty close to all those teams. And the Owen Sound Attack are in 5th spot solidly with a total of 70 points. And they continue to be right there in the mix as well. Don't count those guys out. And I certainly still would not want to get those guys first round. So the CHL rankings are this, folks. Hasn't changed much. Out west, the Regina Pats continue to lead the way. Ranked tops in the CHL. The Erie Otters are ranked 2nd. Ahead of your London Knights, who are ranked 3rd. Erie right now, I believe, is on an 8-game winning streak or something like that too. So they're playing very, very good hockey. And to be honest with you, I think if the playoffs were to start now, I would put Erie right there as the favorite. I really would. As much as I want London to win, I think that Erie has got that edge right now, and I think that they're probably the team that would be the favorite. Who knows what will happen though when the playoffs come. The Windsor Spitfires continue to be out of the top 10 rankings in the country. Owen Sound continues to be in it, as does the Soo Greyhounds. They remain in it as well. So there's your updated standings for you. Coming up this weekend, the London Knights have one game on the Friday night, and then they got another Wednesday night game coming up this week. A rather big game on Wednesday night as they are in Erie to face the Erie Otters. It's a huge game for the standings. And to top it off, this is a known fact about Erie. Erie has not lost one regulation game on home ice all year. They have not been beaten in regulation on home ice once, folks. So we saw the London Knights end a big winning streak by the Owen Sound Attack. Can the Knights actually go into Erie and hand Erie their first regulation loss all year long next week? Time will tell. But definitely, London is going to have to play smarter, and they are going to have to be disciplined, because if they give Erie the amount of power plays they gave Saginaw and Flint, they're going to be burnt. So play smart, play disciplined, and play competitive, guys. That would be my message to you when you go into that game in Erie. As I do at the end of every Knights this week, we got to do the Knights dance. So I'm going to do the Knights dance to end Knights this week for you. So just give me a second while I get this queued up for you.
On channel 100.
Oh, sorry folks, I'm having technical difficulties. Let's just try this again. Bear with me here, folks. We're not a well-oiled machine sometimes on this Nights This Week, but we try our best. My computer's giving me issues. Here we go. It's coming up, folks. Just to bear with me. There we go. So, keep cheering on your London Knights. Okay, folks, that is Nights This Week for you. So, until next week, go, Knights, go, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed them. Keep coming back. Keep seeing what's happening with your London Knights. Thank you for watching.